Hello, everybody. Welcome to another session of Let's Get Creative. I'm Heidi Lubin. I create art programs for Children's Discovery Museum of San Jose. And this week's focus is art about dinosaurs. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor for these broadcasts and actually for all of the art programs that they've helped us to provide over the many, many years of our existence. I'd like to thank the City of San Jose's Cultural Affairs Grant for their amazing funding and all of the incredible work that they do for our museum and also the City of San Jose. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about our beloved Ichiro dinosaur sculpture in front of the museum, and we're going to use that as our inspiration for our projects all of this week. So today what we're going to be doing is creating simple puppets and a place for them to visit and just using really simple materials. But before we get started, I want to introduce you to Ichiro and the artist behind Ichiro. So join me in looking at some photos, and I'll be talking about more of the history of Ichiro, the type of dinosaur it is, and about the artist's process in making this wonderful, wonderful, very cool dinosaur sculpture. So wow, cool. Look at that. That's Ichiro, Sacred Beings. That's its full name. And it's a life-sized, bead-covered dinosaur created by artist Marianela Fuentes. It was placed at our museum as part of Playa to Paseo partnership between the San Jose Office of Cultural Affairs and the Burning Man Project. Dinosaurs are so cool, right? They lived millions of years ago on Earth. They lived everywhere. Ichiro is a copy of a Velafrons coahuilensis dinosaur that lived 72 million years ago in northeast Mexico. This artwork is a copy of its skeleton. You see the skeleton, covered in the bead artwork style created by the Huichol people. Dinosaurs like Ichiro lived on the same land now where the Huichol live. The Huichol are the first people who lived in this area and still live here today. You'll see that Ichiro is standing in front of the museum. You see the purple museum in the background, and there's a photo of it taken at night. This is a photo of it at night being lit up by purple lights. So very cool. And just to give you an idea where dinosaurs like Ichiro used to live, you see the green area. That's where they used to inhabit Mexico. And you also notice that this is also where the Huichol of Mexico live currently today. And you'll see in the upper right corner in green is Mexico. And you know what above that is? The United States, right? And down below, Central America, and then South America. So again, fossils of dinosaurs were found everywhere through the entire world. So we're just looking at one type of dinosaur that was found in Mexico. So this is a picture of Marianela Fuentes. She was actually at the museum when we were installing it, and she gave us an interview. You can see Ichiro in the background. And here's a close-up of Ichiro's head and neck right in front of those big palm trees in front of the museum. You see all the colorful, amazing beadwork? It's actually many, many tiny beads. So we know where Ichiro is from, but what about the artist, Marianela? She's from northeast Mexico, and her art is inspired by what lived there a long time ago in the area, such as dinosaurs. She's a sculptor. So a sculptor is an artist that builds art with their hands. To make her art, though, she also worked with a paleontologist, Arturo Gonzalez. He's a scientist that studies life that existed a long time ago through the study of fossils, which are records of bones and other things left behind. Marianela also worked with artist Sarah Carril, who is a Huichol artist that created all of the beautiful beadwork on Ichiro that we just saw. Just like many sculptors, Marianella drew her design first and then built it. Here's a drawing of hers of the actual dinosaur. She also studied the skeleton of this type of dinosaur. And that's what she used to build this amazing sculpture of Ichiro. So now that you know a little bit about the artist and the dinosaur, Ichiro, I want you to think about your favorite dinosaur. Do you have one? That's okay if you don't. You can maybe Ichiro is going to be your favorite dinosaur at the end of this. We're going to take a moment and we're going to get started on the first part of our project. And like I said, we're going to make a drawing of a dinosaur. And before we get started on that, though, I want to show you some examples of dinosaurs. As you may or may not know, dinosaurs lived millions and millions and millions of years ago. They lived in different time periods. They were meat eaters, also known as carnivores. They were plant eaters, also known as herbivores. And then there were some that ate a little bit of both meat and plants called omnivores. Do you see a favorite dinosaur of yours? I see a Stegosaurus, an iguanodon. What else? A Triceratops, a Lambeosaurus, a Velociraptor, all the way at the end, a teeny tiny one. And then look at that Brachiosaurus, the one with a really long neck and the biggest one there. And can you believe it? Brachiosaurus was an herbivore. He ate only plants, and look how big he got. Before we move on to our drawings of dinosaurs that will become puppets, I wanted to show you the Diplodocus. That is going to inspire my simple drawing of a dinosaur. So the Diplodocus was first found in the United States. It was huge, and it lived during the Jurassic period. All right, everybody. For this next step, we're going to first draw our dinosaurs that will become puppets. What you're going to need for this first step is a piece of paper like this, a pencil, and a pair of scissors. Our first step is hold up your paper, and you're going to fold it in half. Fold it in half like that. Not the long way, but the shorter way, okay? So to make this easier for you is, again, take the piece of paper, fold it like so. Make sure that the edges are lining up with each other, and then pull back and press in the middle. You see what I'm doing? And then you can fold all the way up and then down. So now you have a crease in the paper. You're going to cut along that crease, see the line, with your scissors. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we're eventually going to cut out our dinosaurs from this piece of paper. You just need a half a piece of paper. All right, everybody's got one? So while I do the demonstration of how to draw the Diplodocus, you can draw your own dinosaur. I just ask that you draw your own dinosaur while I'm doing the demonstration, if you're not going to follow along with me. And you can come up with a dinosaur that maybe hasn't been discovered yet. You can draw your favorite dinosaur. And I want you to draw big, okay? All right. Who's ready? All right, let's go. All right, everybody, are we ready to go? Do you remember how last week we talked about line? We're going to talk about that just really quickly, how a line can make a shape. Because what we're doing right now is drawing a shape of a dinosaur with one simple line. And this is something you don't have to do. I'm just going to show you how lines create shape. So here we've got a curved line that's going all the way around. It's a circle. And then a curvy line. It's making kind of a blob shape. And then straight lines. 3 of those make a triangle. All right, is everybody ready with their half sheet of paper and their pencil? I'm going to draw in marker so that you can see it clearly. I'm going to start my dinosaur drawing. Follow along, or again, just work on drawing your own while I'm doing this. Okay, so Diplodocus had a really long neck. I'm going to do a curvy line, another curvy line for its body, and then it has a long tail. Draw down and draw very simple legs. Doesn't have to be perfect, okay? Another leg, and then the rest of its body, underbelly, another leg, another leg, and then all the way up. I think its neck needs to be a little bit longer. I'm going to connect the line, and there's the shape of a dinosaur. Its tail is a little funny. But you know, if you drew something and you want to correct it, you can always cut a little bit higher. It's not a big deal. All right. You ready for your next step? Once you have your dinosaur drawn, what you're going to do is take your scissors and you're going to cut along the lines. I'm just cutting along the outline, the shape of this dinosaur. So I'm going very slowly. I'm turning the paper as I cut, right? You just hold your scissors up and turn the paper. And some, it may take you a little bit longer to get through this step, just learning how to use a scissor. Maybe some are more experienced in that. Keep on going, take your time. Now, if you did do a drawing and it has a lot of details and the legs are really teeny tiny, you can actually cut just around them. It doesn't matter. You don't have to cut out those little details. That's fine. If you feel like the paper is going to be too thin, just go around those legs like that. You can leave extra paper. I'm going to cut out my legs because there's enough space and I won't ruin or cut into my artwork. Almost there. You're all doing such a good job. I just know it. But using your scissor skills. All right. So you have your dinosaur shape. Now, you don't have to color this in just yet or do any decoration. You can do that after we go through all of these steps. I just want to show you how to make a very simple puppet and move through all the steps so then you can continue the artwork and decorate everything the way that you like to if you have crayons and markers and all that. All right, so we've got our dinosaur shape. And now you see the leftover paper. we're going to use that for our dinosaur puppet stick. We're not using a stick. We're just using a simple piece of paper, but it's something that you're going to use to tape onto your dinosaur so you can move it like a puppet. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking my piece of paper and cutting a very thin line but long. Like so. Got it? Now what you're going to do is take some tape, if you have it. And if you don't have it right now, you can just assemble, you can put your dinosaur together, the puppet stick on it later. But I'm going to just show you how to do that if you do have tape. So I'm taking some blue tape so you can see it. And I'm taking my dinosaur shape, putting it on the back. See, I drew on the front, putting it on the back where there's no drawing. And placing it on both the strip of paper and the dinosaur shape. And voila! You have a moving dinosaur. What is it going to say? Rawr! That's what mine is saying. Great. Are you ready for the next step? Okay, so what you need for this next step is another piece of paper, 8.5 by 11. Okay, everybody, now that you have your second piece of 8.5 by 11 paper, we're going to do what we did before and fold the paper in half, putting the edges together and then pressing here in the middle and then going up and down the sides. Next, we're going to cut the paper in half again along that line. And one will become your ground, and the other one's going to be a backdrop or like something like a building or a bush for your dinosaur to move around. So maybe you're going to think about you want the dinosaur to live in front of your house to protect you, or maybe at the park to help you up to the monkey bars. That's up to you. Or maybe you think it needs a nice tree to sit under. Okay, so let's get started with 1/2 of your piece of paper and your pencil, and you're going to draw on this piece of paper. But first, what you're going to do is fold and give it another little fold, because this is what we're going to use to stand it up. I'm going to fold it about that much. So a little past, it looks like past the first knuckle of my index finger. You see that? Okay. Now what you're going to do is draw on this side. See the fold is here? You're going to draw on this side anything that you want to. I'm going to draw a bush for my Diplodocus because it loved to eat plants. So go ahead and get drawing. Remember to draw at the bottom where that fold is, okay? And you're not drawing on the fold. So I'm just going to draw a bush. I'm going to draw one of those fun shapes. Okay, and right now we're just drawing the outline. You don't have to get too into the details. You can work on those after this lesson. All right, you ready? We're going to need now a pair of scissors, and that's it, and your paper here. And I guess you could probably guess what we're going to do next is we're going to cut out the shape and make sure that you see this folded area. Don't cut that. Don't cut that just yet, okay? So along this line here, I'm going to start cutting and going along again the edges of my shape, just like we did with the dinosaur. And then I'm going to cut here. You see what we've got? So next, I'm going to take this piece of paper and I'm going to use this other, remember the other half that you cut? I'm going to tape this on to my paper. You see? See where the fold is? That fold needs to touch the paper. And what I'm going to do is take a piece of tape and see, this is the back of the drawing. I'm going to tape it on my piece of paper like so. Does yours stand up? Mine does. If you're having a hard time standing yours up, you can try folding it again and then pushing it a little forward when it's on the paper. Okay, next, you see this white paper here? You can take your time, and you remember our practice with lines? You can draw any line that you want to on your ground. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to draw some fun wavy lines, some looped lines, some dashed lines, and on and on. I'm going to take my time after we finish. But now, are you ready to take your dinosaur for a little walk around its landscape? Here's my Diplodocus. It's going back and forth. I really like this bush. Yum, 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 yum. Delicious. And then it's going to hide behind the bush. And then it's going to jump. All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining. You can continue this art project in many different ways. You can make more places for your dinosaur to visit. You can color it in. You can add more lines to your landscape, to your ground. And then you can even come up with a dinosaur name. I'm going to call my dinosaur Mr. D. So why don't you share your creations with us at #PurpleMuseumCreations. I really want to see what you made today. And I can't wait to see you on Wednesday when we're going to be looking at Ichiro's really beautiful beaded head and making artwork about that. All right, Mr. D says goodbye and have a great day. We'll see you again on Wednesday. Bye, everybody.